Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me ask first, and I haven't had a time to look, and I don't know who the appropriate person to answer this question might be. Is there anything in the bill, or is there anything that we already have in the way of help to help airports clear away foul from the area so they don't cause disturbances with airplanes as we saw in New York? Is there any program that we have, noise makers, whatever? Yes, ma'am.
The FAA does, through its airport organization, have guidance and programs for wildlife and bird hazards, and works actively with most of the airports throughout the United States. It does remain a big concern, sir. You are correct.
Well, obviously it does. And was the problem in New York that these birds were just lucky/unlucky? They didn't get observed by your deterrent effects or your monitoring system, and then they ran into the plane, or vice versa, or what?
My understanding is the monitoring systems are mostly down at a lower level, and these were at a higher level. I'm not familiar enough, obviously they're still going through all the facts, and the NTSB has not come out with all of its reports yet. But that said, we do work the issue, particularly through the airports, at the lowest levels.
Is there some way, what gets geese to go the other way, except for the weather?
I can get you more information on the program. I mean, they have deterrents, whether it is through, actively working to replace water hazards and things like that. I mean, New York is complicated in that the airport is right on the water, and there is a wildlife refuge there. So they actually, have a considerable problem that they do try and mitigate.
But it's on your radar, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let me ask, all three of y'all, I presume, are in favor. Could you safely say that you're all in favor of the passage of this bill? I see one nod.
Mr. Cohen, we are definitely in favor of the passage of the bill. We've worked with the committee to help provide some of the background information that is behind the bill, so we're definitely in favor of it.
Let me ask you this. There's a provision in here that deals with labor laws and deals with Federal Express, which is the #1 carrier of cargo in this country. And it would require them to be under the National Labor Relations Act rather than the Railway Labor Act, which the courts have ruled that is the appropriate and legislatively and legal and also in courts judicially, that's the proper place for labor disputes to be determined for the good of the country. Because if there's a strike there in some remote section of the Federal Express FedEx Express system, and FedEx is halted in this particular recessionary time, if not at all times, commerce comes to a halt. Are y'all familiar with that provision? Any of you familiar with it? Nobody's familiar with it. Well, and you endorse the bill. My question to you is this. That, in my opinion, and I come from Memphis, that's maybe considered provincial, but the Federal Express covers the entire United States, the entire globe. And this issue has the potential to stop this bill. I am in favor of the bill as you are, and think it's real important, as does my airport authority, that we have the next generation, that we have runway improvements, we have all the provisions in the bill to help move us forward. But this one labor provision that is not germane and that the three of y'all aren't even familiar with, and yet you're experts on the field, the pros from Dover, as they'd say in MASH, aren't even familiar with, could hold up this bill. And I think that's a serious problem, and especially in the Senate, because they have effectively hijacked the stimulus bill with 3 individuals. And I suspect that the same thing could happen over there on this bill. And I'd hate to see us not get this bill passed because of a provision that is very important to the future of this country's economy, and that is not necessarily germane to runways, extensions, and next gen, and other safety features. So with that as a statement, if anybody wants to comment, I would appreciate it. Mr. Scoville, do you have a thought?
I don't, sir. The topic is really beyond the purview of my office,
Right.
and we're happy to leave it within the sound judgment of the Congress.